And her love, her determination, her grit, for me it was a story of a real life hero. That Indian women are people who you don't mess with, and Indian mothers especially. It's too traumatic, me being a mom, I still can't put myself in her shoes. Particular incident in the film is so moving and it's so sad. So I speak to my mom like every day in the morning, wherever I am in the world. Because when you become a mother, you suddenly believe that, oh my God, there is somebody who we love more than ourselves. Maybe her achievements are probably more exciting to me than my own today.
Hey guys, this is Nawaz Kochra from Team MissMalini and I am here in conversation with somebody really special. I watched her performance on the big screen recently and it was simply perfect because it was a mother fighting with an entire nation to get her children back. And yes, that's for us, Rani Mukerji with Mrs. Chatterjee Vs Norway. Welcome to MissMalini, Rani. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Well, I have to say that, as an audience, when I sat through in that theatre and watched this performance for 2 hours, it moved me to a great extent. I want to know that you've spent so much time with this character. You've lived with this character for months, probably even for years, if I'm not wrong. How was your personal journey with it?
I think my journey with this film started the day Nikhil called me in 2021 in January, when he told me that this is a film that he wants me to consider doing, and he gave me a gist of what the story was. And I remember being in complete disbelief because we were in the midst of a pandemic. Things were looking quite bizarre for all of us. We didn't know what's going to happen next. Things were shut down, and it was a really bizarre time.
Absolutely.
And I said, wait a minute, how is it that children can be taken away from this family because of cultural difference of feeding with the hand or sleeping, which is things that we do normally or the way we have grown up. And it really shook me, and I was like, an Indian family outside of our country has suffered this ordeal, and we as Indians don't know about it as yet. And then I googled the entire case, and when I googled the case, I realized that in 2011 a lot of the big media houses in India did extensively cover the case. But what got me thinking was that this case was spoken about in Parliament. There was Indian government involved at that point of time to help this Indian family. And this entire thing happened, and we living in India didn't know about it. And I thought to myself that there are so many other people in different parts of the world who don't know about this story.
Probably, yeah.
And that kept me thinking. I was like, this story needs to be told. This movie needs to be made because the story of this woman deserves a film because of the journey that she ensued, her battle with a country, her battle with her own husband, her battle with her own people, because she believed that she wasn't wrong. She believed that her kids are best with her. She believed that whatever has happened, she has accepted her reality, but she said, I'm going to fight.
Right.
And her love, her determination, her grit, for me it was a story of a real life hero. And I thought that it was definitely worth putting it out there on screen, and for people in India and abroad to know that Indian women are people who you don't mess with, and Indian mothers especially. Because when it comes to their children, they can go to any lengths to do what they want to do. So for me it was a very personal journey, because also Sagarika is Bengali. And to know that an Indian family had to go through this, a mother had to go through this, it's too traumatic. Me being a mom, I still can't put myself in her shoes, because the thought troubles me, the thought disturbs me.
Absolutely.
So of course it was a very, very, I would say, a very personal journey for me as well, to portray her pain, her sorrow, her journey in this film, because how much ever we talk about it, how much ever we sympathize with this particular subject, we'll still never know what she must have really gone through.
Absolutely.
And today there are several parents who are suffering this. There are several children who are separated from their parents. And I just hope and pray that Mrs. Chatterjee Vs Norway can make a noise worldwide so that people know about this issue and there's awareness created, and people who are the law-making people or the people who can move things,
Right.
they really help the people who really are in need of the help.
Absolutely. Also, I want to know from you that from the story of Sagarika, or for that matter, from Devika's journey, was there a particular point that personally moved you?
I think I have to say that the entire film was a moving story for me. There was no particular one um, scene that I thought that her emotional journey was lesser than the other.
Right.
Because the pain that she felt in the beginning when her children were confiscated from her, it was a shock, it was disbelief, it was not coming to terms with the reality. The shock, the pain, the separation anxiety, to the fact that she started to deal with the reality of not having a children around her, and then to have the courage to fight it and to believe that I'm going to fight till my children are back in my life. So I think every scene, every particular incident in the film is so moving and it's so sad that that you can't compare this with anything else. It's just too sad.
Absolutely. Also, at the conference, you told Mr. Karan Johar that your mom in real was also a reference point for you.
Yes.
So probably, were there times when during the shoot you performed a scene and, you were so moved by it that you picked up a call on your mom and, just...
So I speak to my mom like every day in the morning, wherever I am in the world. So for me, she's the closest Bengali woman who I know who's born and brought up in West Bengal.
Yeah.
Because being married in Bombay for 50 years, she's not left her roots. She's still so connected to Kolkata, to Bengal, and everything about her is Bengali. The way she speaks, the way she talks, the way she eats, her food habits, everything is so Bengali. And because of her, I believe I am so Bengali. If she hadn't raised us the way she did, maybe I wouldn't know a lot of things because I'm not brought up in Bengal, I'm brought up in Maharashtra. So it was very important for me to be able to channel her through this subject, because as a mother, I didn't have the courage to put myself in Sagarika's shoes. So I made mom the reference point to think that what would mom do if somebody took me and my brother away from her. So it was always her in my mind when I played Devika.
But also, now that you are also a mom, has Rani changed? Like, has something about Rani changed when she was a daughter and now that she's a mother?
So I feel every woman who becomes a mother, every girl who becomes a mother has an immediate transformation. Because when you become a mother, you suddenly believe that, oh my God, there is somebody who we love more than ourselves. The self-centeredness goes completely, and you start living for this other being that has come from you.
True.
It's just a very, very different feeling, and I can vouch for all the mothers in the world who might be listening or hearing this interview. I would want to say that we become different people. We don't realize it, but if you really ask your friends or your family, we do become very, very different individuals. And I think that is a very natural progression in terms of your behavior or the way you are as a person. It changes because suddenly you become more patient, you become more forgiving, you become a listener. And there's so much more that comes into your being, because as a mother, I don't think there is anything more important to me than my daughter's happiness in the world.
Absolutely.
And maybe her achievements are probably more exciting to me than my own today, which was so different when I was a single girl,
Yes.
And it was maybe about me, or maybe it was about my parents or my parents' love for me. Because the way my parents love me, I don't think as much as I would love them, I will not be able to replicate the love that they have for me, and the same with me and my daughter. Like, I don't think my daughter will ever be able to love me the way I love her back,
Very true, very true.
So yeah, as a mother, as a person, of course, I have changed.
Wow. Also, can we say that Devika's left you or it's still a part of you somewhere?
Devika, I think, will always stay with me all my life because it's one of those characters or films that, come once in a lifetime to you.
Right.
They are stories which are, which kind of leave an indelible mark in your existence. The fact that this subject chose me, the fact that Sagarika's journey came to life on screen through me, I think for me that is the most surreal thing and that's the most magical thing. It could have been anybody else, you know, but the fact that it chose me, you know, to be able to portray this part, there has to be some destiny, some things happening in the other world that has propelled this union.
Amazing, amazing. You know, for me, the biggest takeaway from Mrs. Like the scene that moved me the most was the reunion scene. The judge when that meeting that happens in the judge's chamber.
Yeah.
I literally broke down that time. It was that moving for me. But is there a particular favorite scene for you?
Oh, I've got so many favorite scenes.
Yeah.
So many favorite scenes. Especially the scene where she comes back after meeting Vasudha Kamath and she starts to eat because that's the first time her appetite has come back.
And I think so that's the same food she gives to her son.
Yes, and that's the first time that her appetite is back because she's feeling a sense of hope suddenly in complete darkness, you know. We see a ray of light and it's so like, it's so beautiful because when you are down and out, when you're sad, you lose appetite, you see. And then when there is something that makes you feel better, your appetite comes back. And for her, the strength, her resolution in her mind and her heart that I'm not going to give this up, is, that scene and so many other scenes. It's like, it's just heartbreaking. Every scene in the film is just so heartbreaking.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, on that note, thank you so much for removing time and doing this with us. It was a pleasure talking to you. It was a pleasure watching the story, getting to know about such a wonderful, the way it's been portrayed is simply amazing. So always keep treating us with such amazing performances. And on that note, wish you all the very best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.